see the point? One time, friends, I was so mad at a brother I couldn't stand it. He just kept offending me. Couldn't even sleep at night. Roll around and toss and turn. You know how you get? I didn't even like hearing him comment. I don't think he even belongs here in the congregation. That's what you thought, see? Finally went and talked to him. You have to at some point in that regard, see? He didn't even know he had offended me. Said he was sorry. Who was the one that was hurting herself? It was me. I was the one carrying that load around. And was I glad to get rid of that? You see, when we stop to reason that I want Jehovah to treat me the way I'm treating others, that helps us. Now, that's very important. Think about this, the tale of two men. One had been a humble man, a powerful man, though in time he became a king. You remember that? In time, along came a younger man with more ability and talent. They become the best of friends. The first in time became jealous. Then it grew into bitterness, throwing fits of anger, resentment. It resulted in him trying to kill the young man, deeply bitter. The man hounded the young man. It consumed his very soul. He then died a horrible death, cut off from his God. The young man refused to hate the older man no matter what. In time, he just let love cover it over. It's true on two occasions he had opportunity to kill the older man and refused to do it. He just let it go. That young man was David, as you well know. Later, he sinned a sin worthy of death eternal. But his God treated him how he had treated others, in part because David, had just let it go. While Jehovah, held him accountable, he too just let it go. So he practiced true forgiveness. It saved his life eternally. Let me give you a scripture that David applied when he was going through that. We don't have time to look at it, but would you jot down Psalm 38, 12 through 15? Psalm 38, 12 through 15, if you're taking notes. If you're going through something like that, what do we learn from David? He took it to Jehovah in prayer, then he left it with him, but he kept supporting theocracy. You see the key? And he wouldn't speak out against the anointed one of God, and he was a wicked man. We have men who love you. They would give their life. How much more so we would not speak out against those that have been appointed theocratically by God himself. Now, what can we do? Three things. Try to settle the matter immediately. Well, what do we mean? If we can't go to that person right away, how do we not let the sun go down in our anger? Slow your anger down. Stop that process. Reason it out and go, okay, I'm just going to let it go. Secondly, do not extract injury for injury. Do not fall into that vengeful kind of spirit that can eat our being up, our soul. Then pray for them by name. Boy, that can be tough, can't it? You're already mad at them. Jehovah, please, bless, well, you know. If you go ahead and say the name, and I know from experience, it serves as a release. Bless them richly, Jehovah, may they prosper. Then apply Acts 20:35. Practice giving by forgetting. It's the ultimate act of generosity. And then apply the Chip and Dale principle. Who is that? You remember them little chipmunks? Want to say, no, you first. No, you first. No, you first. No, you. Be quiet. You're getting on my nerves. But that's the way they treated one another, see? Now, how could we apply that? Now, here you got somebody you're unhappy with, and you say, hey, let's go eat a steak. Have you got that? Feed them a steak. You cannot be mad at somebody when they're trying to feed you. You know, I hadn't been real happy with you. I'm starting to get over it. You know, I was so upset that I'm starting to love you. It's the third one every time that gets them. Man, I love you. See how that works? Then just let it go. A brother called and told me earlier in the year when we were giving this talk, a sister just wanted to pass along someone she had been upset with for a long, long time. Went to her and she just let it go. Said she felt a sense of peace that came over. It makes you feel good for her, doesn't it? You see the point? We prosper when we do that. Let me wrap up this talk with some thoughts that come to my mind. And think about this. It started with a laugh. It started with a laugh at the Kingdom Hall one day. He laughed at me. I did not think it funny. The more I thought and pondered, he seems to always be laughing at me. Why? Soon his very presence disturbed me. Oh, how his laugh grated on my nerves. Such a useless fellow. He must not a Christian truly be. Then I began to avoid this pagan man. What a pretense, a Christian Bob. Why, the mere sight would turn my face quite red and hard. I refused to speak to this man the damage he has done to me. I only wish, I just wish if he would quit serving Jah. There, I said it. His laugh I would not have to bear. I decided in my heart, and then it grew and grew and grew. Into a raging fire it grew. One day I learned, and it must have been a mistake, how he'd helped a sister quite in need. He must have the wrong brother. What a pretense! A brother, huh? I ended up in service with him in the very same car group. Could I stand it? I did not see how. Then he was asked how he learned the truth, and he turned and looked right at me. And he said, much like you, I had no spiritual father. He was a violent man who often abused me, even tried on several occasions, and I could see the tears in his eyes through the rearview mirror. He coughed and wiped quickly. He said, I try to laugh just to cover the pain. You see, Jehovah and the truth and the brotherhood saved my very life. And you know, when I feel like quitting, it's your example. It's your example that builds me up. I know I never tell you, but it does. You see, the moral is this. Do not let it grow. Learn to forgive. Learn to forgive quickly. Cover it with love. Just let it go. You see, then Jehovah will give us a credit that will allow our own sins to be wiped away, and then we will be allowed to live in the beautiful new earth eternally. Why? Because we refused to harbor resentment. We learned how to forgive. It's the very best thing that we can do. It's the very best thing that we can do. So just... Oh, what a beautiful group you are. We've had a good week, hadn't we? Thank you very much.